Hello there, my name is Mona Shalom. So today we are going to talk about Igbo women and the power Igbo women hold in Igbo society, in our towns and stuff. So for the past few weeks, there have been arguments and people talking about how Igbo culture is rooted in patriarchy, which is actually wrong, totally wrong. And they were talking about how women don't inherit lands in Igbo land, which is actually false. Yeah, women do. Women do inherit lands in Igbo land. The only land that women don't inherit is the ancestral lands, like the Obi, the Shubi. You cannot. Even some men don't inherit it. The only man that inherits that is the first son of the family. The first son of the family is the only one that can inherit the ancestral land. So for the other lands, if your parents wish to give it to you as a female, it's nobody's stopping you from that. Nobody. And you know, women do inherit lands, but it's just like men cannot. There is a land that men cannot inherit in Igbo land, and then it's for women. In my place, I'm from Imo. In my place, we call it Mbola, Mbola. Anambra calls it Mbobo or something like that. It's given to women when you get married, and when you're married into a family, they give you that land. When you go back to your hometown, those lands that your grandmother usually go to get vegetables and stuff like that are like inside the compound, but it's like a garden. A man cannot inherit that. It's for women. And then I don't know about other towns, but in my town, I think the same go with palm trees too, something like that. But I'm not so sure about that one. But I will do an entire full video about that one because I've been seeing some things going on when it comes to palm trees. But that one is a bigger issue, a bigger something that we could talk about next time. For now, we are going to talk about Igbo women and their power in the society. So, some will say, if your father only have daughters, if your parents only have daughters, and there is no son, that the relative will take away everything from you people. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. If a man, if your parents only had like daughters and your father dies, of course, you people, when you grow up, would decide to marry and marry into other families and leave, your father's house in, the compound. And that's how the line would go. Your lineage ends there after your father. But in Igbo land, there was a lot of things you could do about that. Nobody is going to take away your father's properties unless you people are gone. Now, back in the day, even till this day, because I know somebody that did it just some years back, when a man have only daughters, a daughter could decide not to get married, or even before she gets married, could have a child, male or female, doesn't matter. And any child that is born out of wedlock, any child in Igbo land, we don't have bastards. Any child that is born, like a woman gets pregnant, but the man she's not married to any man at all. If she have that child in that compound, that child automatically belongs to her family. Even if the father appears 700 years later, only the woman have the power to say, okay, he could do the necessary things and he could take the child. As long as the family says no, and you did not come before the child's birth and do the bridal rights and all the stuff. The child is not yours, it belongs to the family. So, as a daughter, let's say your father didn't have any male children and he died, you can have a child and keep in the name of your family. You can take the child with you to your husband's place, but he's going to retain your family's surname. You could, take care of your child the way you want, whichever. At the end of the day, he belongs to your late father. It's your family's child, like your immediate family, not the family you're married into. So that's another way you could keep the family line going and nobody's taking your properties from you. Now, another thing is some women, let's say there was no child, you get married, there was no child, and your husband was like the only son and all that. And nobody's stopping you from remarrying. A lot of people are talking about how Igbo women cannot remarry. Nobody's stopping you from remarrying. The thing is this: if you don't want the family to close after your husband's death, you yourself as the wife, could marry another woman for your husband. You could marry another woman, she will get pregnant, and every children she has belongs to your husband's family, your family, your husband's family. So that's another way to go about it. So there is no way you are going. The only reason why your father would die and the relative would take everything away from you and your siblings and your mother is maybe because you people don't know anything and they are wicked people. So as long as you your father is your father and he dies, the entire thing goes to you, the entire children. But there needs to be a male child to, go on. So that male child could come from any of the daughters, or the daughters could go outside and marry for their late father. It happens. I have cousins from that. Yes, I have cousins that were born that way. And I have a friend that happens to be my cousin too. That was, born that way. And guess what? She is so hardworking that some years back she even married a wife for herself. Yes, a she, and she already have a child. I'm not sure if it's a daughter or a son, but yes, the mother couldn't be. I think the father died early or something like that. They had to marry another woman and stuff, and then the mother gave birth to her, um, and then died and all the stuff. So she had to. Now she's grown. She decides to get married herself. She doesn't want to marry a guy, so she married another woman. Takes care of her and all the stuff. And the woman got pregnant for her and gets married. Don't ask me about how they get pregnant, please. I'm not doing that one today. Not today. Not today. Thank you. So, that's other things Igbo women can do. So Igbo women can inherit lands, and as long as it's not the ancestral lands, we have our own lands to inherit. You go to your husband's place, you inherit them over. In your compound, your father's place, you could inherit anything he wants to give you though, but not the ancestral land. Yes, it belongs to the first son. Now, another one. Feminists these days want to cry about how um, they don't want to change their surname when they get married, so they will have to whatever, whatever. If you can find the poster of your grandma's funeral, your great grandma's funeral, you will see that her surname is still her, surname from her father's house, not her husband's surname. It's just recently that, we just decided to join the modern world, the Western world, and whatever that people started. And when elders started dying, that people would want to go and do posters for their grandmother, and they managed to get their grandmother's first name and middle name correct, and then decide to add their own surname. forgetting that their grandmother is from somewhere different. So women don't in Igbo land back in the day, just like few decades ago, is the woman doesn't have to change her surname just because she got married. She's still a child of that family, so she doesn't have to change her name. So that's one of the most um, common mistakes people make when they are trying to talk about Igbo women and Igbo men, whatever kind of power they have in the society. So yeah, women can inherit lands in Igbo land. A woman can decide not to get married and stay in her father's compound and have her own children there, and they are her children, and they are not bastards. We don't have bastards in Igbo land. And a woman can marry another woman to come give birth in a family. And yeah, and as a widow, people will say once you do not have a child and your husband dies, they're going to send you away. Nobody's sending you away. As long as that family did the entire marital rights, they're not sending you away. When you're done mourning your husband and everything is gone, there is normally a family meeting. That's when they are going to ask you, are you staying or are you going? The decision is yours. It's not like some people will say, oh, they will tell you, it's either you marry your husband's brother. That's called Nkuchi. Nkuchi is not everybody that supports it, not everybody that wants it. It's all these wicked uncles and, you know, Nollywood imaginary family members that usually do that. So if your husband dies and you want to go back to your people, nobody's holding you, nobody will stop you from remarrying and stuff, as long as you had to stay and mourn your husband. If it's 6 months or 1 year, you people decide to do in your place, that's it. So I think we should stop trying to look at Igbo culture from the Nollywood um, lens. And when you go home to your hometown, when you see elders from your place, you could ask them certain things and know that our reality, our culture in real life is different from the one we watch in Hollywood. So thank you, and please like and subscribe to my YouTube page. Yeah, we'll be having a whole lot of this kind of conversation um, about anything Igbo culture. If you have a question, you could ask in the comment section. If you have something you want us to talk about next time, you can actually drop it. Thank you.